I'm David from Levika Photography, and today I'm going to be talking about flashes. But first, let me give you guys some news on wireless triggers. Now, it's May of 2015. There were two new systems that were supposed to be released this year. Now, the multi-interface hot shoe has now been out for almost a year and a half. This is Sony's new hot shoe. Only issue is we have yet to see good wireless triggers for this flash. Now let me give you guys a quick update. Godox Odin, they're coming out with the second generation that has the proper hot shoe on it, so that way you don't have to buy the Minolta to multi-interface hot shoes to make it work with that. Still doesn't exist. The other one was the Nissan a700 Air Commander, and with the 700 flash. And I ordered mine 6 weeks ago. Nobody knows when it's actually going to be released. Those triggers, you know, I've been using the RF603 and I've been getting it to work just fine. Now for high-speed sync, take a look at the other flashes I've tested. Here's the playlist right here. A lot of people are having good luck with the adapter from the multi-interface hot shoe to the Sony Minolta old school setup and using Pixel Kings. And you know, those will give you manual control and high-speed sync, but they won't give you TTL, as far as I understand. I haven't actually tested it, but this is what I've heard. Okay, the other one was the, I think it was called Aokitek, and they're a wireless transmitter that you use a high-speed sync flash or a TTL flash, and you put it on the infrared on the flash, so you plug it into here, and then while that's on the camera, and it's strapped to the side of it, and then on your flash on the other setup you do the same thing, and so it transmits the information wirelessly and feeds through the flash that way. I was going to order the setup and test it myself, but a lot of people told me, you know, not to even bother because it's extremely inconsistent. So, you know, it's kind of a bummer. But right now, we're still without a good wireless trigger system. It just doesn't exist. In manual mode, there's plenty that you can use. You know, just about anything that's, you know, a generic version seems to work just fine. I've been using the Yonguo RF603s forever, and they work fine in manual, but no TTL, no high-speed sync. So what I haven't reviewed are manual flashes. So let's get into this. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the Yongnuos. I never really talk about these. I've never done an actual review on these. And this particular flash right here is probably 5 years old. I've had this one for a really long time. This gives you manual, multi, and multi meaning it goes, you can set the strobe effect. And you have S1 and S2 modes. It zooms, and it has the widescreen door and the bounce card in it as well. So it's the exact same thing as the 563, except this adds wireless trigger functionality for the RF603. And then it does the exact same thing as the 564, except the 564 adds wireless trigger capability for the RF622 receiver. So, or commander. So, you know, overall, these work. They're a little buggy. This particular version, just so you guys know, when you're actually looking at flashes, if you look at the base of that, right there, you'll notice that it has one pin. And what good is one pin? Or a universal pin? So, you know, even though some of these, when you go buy them, they say they're for Canon, they say they're for Nikon, they say they're for Pentax, whatever, if it just has one pin, it's just a one-pin flash. It just means it's universal. It just means it's going to fire off of a universal hot shoe like what's on the camera. But the biggest problem is with the Yongnuos and the, let me turn the power down here, and our Sony a6000, and if we lock this down, it's not always consistent, you know, to try to get to fire correctly. So, you know, once it's set in a certain direction, it fires just fine, but it's very finicky on the hot shoe. took the paint off the hot shoes. That helps better ground, but it does make things perfect. The newer Yongnuos are having issues, especially the version 4 of the 560. Here, they seem to work okay. They're not great. But with the wireless transmitter, they seem to work just fine. And let me throw that on to wireless transmitter mode. You know, it seems to work just fine. But that's only for manual mode. Okay, so anyway, the Yongnuos deliver a very consistent flash. It's a decent setup. So we're going to take a closer look at this. The other one that ended up on my doorstep was the Godox VT-560. A lot of you guys asked me to review this flash. And we're going to go ahead and review it. And it's a single pin. Not that exciting. It means it's universal. But on here, let's see how it does. Let's just turn this on. The beauty of it is it seems to fire consistently. Let's turn the power up here. No problems. So it fires on the camera without any issues. Now the last one was kind of an unexpected flash to come out, and this is the Aperlite YH-700c, meaning it's for Canon. And we're going to take a close look at this one. Actually, I'm going to do 2 reviews on this. We're going to review it on this camera, and then I'm going to review it on a Canon and see how well it does. But overall, this one's equally as consistent. You know, this talks to the hot shoe just fine. It's a Canon mount. And it's kind of funny because we tested the Canon 580EX2 on here, and it was as buggy as the Yongnuos. It just didn't want to fire. But this thing right here, no problems. Fires away like mad. And, you know, so there's a lot of good flashes out there. We just need a way to make them work in high-speed sync and TTL. But, you know, realistically, what can we do? So let's take a close look at these, shall we? Hey, Robot Baby. Hi, Happy Robot Baby. He's so happy. I just love this little guy. He's so cute. Okay, first up is the Yongnuo. Very basic flash. These all have the same head movements. Goes everywhere. You know, not too exciting. This has a guide number of 38, just like everything else. All these have guide numbers of 38s. And it's a very consistent light. Here's the photo of the spread, just so you guys know that we don't see the issues that we've seen with the Mets. And, you know, very good quality. So there's our Robot Baby there. Just to kind of get an idea of what it looks like. You know, it's a very even light spread. Nothing really exciting to complain about. Now, what we have on the back of this, the way that these work, navigation is simple. You don't even need a manual. Right here is where you can turn your light on or your sound off. And then your modes are multi and manual. And then over here you've got your network button. And this is for your transmitter. And you can either do S1, S2, or the wireless transmitter for RF603 with a configuration built in. And then you can zoom it. Very easy to navigate. Kind of a no-brainer, simple flash. Okay, next up is the VT-560 Godox flash. And I'm still trying to understand Godox here. And the light spread is even. Here's an image. And, you know, overall it seems to shoot pretty good. Can't really complain about it. The recycle time, though, on full power between flashes, it's 5 seconds. That is long. So if we actually, let's take this off the camera and let's grab the Yongnuo here and test. So the Yongnuo is obviously much faster than the Godox as far as the recycle time. Now, let's take a look at, since the Yongnuo is faster, let's take a look at the Aperlite. Yeah, they are. They're identical. So the Yongnuo is equally as fast as the Aperlite as far as recharging at full power. So that's cool. But our little Godox is kind of god-awful. You know, to be honest with you, this has the same recycling time as a Sony flash. And at full power, it takes just as long to come back up as the HVL F60M and the 43M at full power. What is the difference between these? There's not much. I mean, they have the same head movements. They bounce up, they go down. This is fixed at 24 millimeter. And, you know, it does have the wide angle bounce that you throw down with it. And I'm only guessing it's at 24 millimeter because of the head position. So if we get on this one, actually this one's zoomed out at 24 millimeter, and they look like they're about the same spot. Alright, so with this one, this is the Aperlite right here. And the way that you get this thing to work is you hold down the zoom button, and that brings up which mode you want to go to. And this is what's kind of cool is we have our master, and then we have Canon for a Canon slave. And then we've got Nikon for a Nikon slave. So we have to explore this to see how well this works. And then we've got S1 and S2. Now, just so you guys know, what's the difference between S1 and S2? S2 does not transmit any of the flash information. So when this fires, just an optical flash, whatever power you put it at, it just fires. Now S1 gives pre-flash data. That's why we're able to actually achieve high-speed sync in S1 mode, is the camera's doing a quick pre-flash before anything happens, telling the flashes what they're going to shoot at. So, you know, that's how I'm able to do this. So anyway, let's give this a try. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set this up with the Godox VT-560 on the camera, and we're going to use this as the master. And there's a reason why, because S mode sucks on this thing. Here's a video as to why. Now, what I did is I went outside and tested this in full daylight and could not get this thing to go off unless the flash head was actually stuck on it. It was really goofy. I don't know why. But anyway, that mode just doesn't work very well. So in here, let's go ahead and set this up. Now, we can't really see what we're doing. We're at F11. It's very dark in here. So how do you get around this on the A6000 or any Sony camera for that matter? So you go to menu, and then you go up to your settings right here, and then you go to live view display, turn your settings effect off, and then you can see what the hell you're doing. That's how I cheat for low light photography. So let's give us a dramatic image here, and I'll do this in the camera so you can see what I'm doing here. And so there's our image. And you know, we're using this as a forward flash, and actually this, we can turn this and shoot this one off to the side and not have that light, and see how that looks. So, you know, we get a very dramatic light here. One thing I can say is at full, half, quarter, eighth power, you know, all these flashes at eighth are very fast. This one's actually slightly slower, probably half a second between recycle times, but you know, it seems to just hammer it out. In this setting, you know, you can go all day no problem. So, you know, very quick once you get to the lower power levels, it matches what everybody else can do. Just so slow at full power. It's just such a bummer. Okay, so the Yongnuos, as far as power cycling time, we already tested 1:1, but at an eighth, right here, it's also continuous and faster than the Godox. Very quick, works perfectly. So the Aperlite is as fast as the Yonguo at an eighth power, where you can just continuously blast. And that is very quick. The Godox comes in a box. They all come in a box. They're all about the same size. You know, that way you can stack them nicely in your store, I guess. It does have the Godox flash. does have on the side, as all these do actually, a PC sync port, old school port, and it does actually have a plug-in for an external battery, so that is good. No zoom, nothing exciting about it. The back is very basic. You have S1, S2, manual, and you can change your power settings from full power to 1/28. And the bounce head, it does actually give good clean light, but you're stuck at a width of about 24 millimeters. So, you know, no zoom capability, has the pop-out door, the bounce head, just a flash. Okay, so then the Aperlite. Let's give you a walk around here. So here's the front of it. That way you can see what the screen looks like. Here's what the screen looks like. And, you know, this is a very easy to use, clean flash, very fast recycling times, you know, equal light distribution, goes from 24 to 105, and then has this bounce door that probably gives it a width of about 14. The bounce door is not the easiest thing to get out, by the way. A little tough to grab. Bounce card, and then the actual widescreen or wide angle flip out screen probably gives you a width between 14 to 16 millimeter. It's very thick though. It's thicker than everybody else. And for me, I mean, I don't have fingernails right now. I can't really grab it, but when it's in there, this one was kind of stuck a little bit, but now it's really easy to pull. So, you know, seems to work just fine. Does not come with a bounce cover or a diffuser head unit. So, you know, kind of a bummer there. The box itself is actually really nice, but the bag that you carry the flash around in is just this nylon thing. Hot shoe fork, which looks very similar to the Yongnuo's. Very simple. They all have decent hot shoe forks. Not as weird as the Mets, that's for sure. So, you know, overall it's a decent flash. Can't complain. Okay, so the Yongnuo's, the 560, they have the same amount of movement. Their hot shoe adapter is pretty much the same. Not too exciting. These are very easy to use. On the 563, you have this as your commander button, and that tells you you're doing S1, S2, manual, or the RF603, and then where to set your position at. Very easy to navigate, no problems there. The only thing that's kind of different is the zoom button. You actually just hit the zoom button and it goes through the zoom settings, whereas on the Aperlite you hit the zoom button, then you have to hit the mode control to control which way you're zooming. And as I said before, no zoom on this. Okay, so I'm not going to go crazy with this because we're only shooting in manual mode, but realistically, this Aperlite, this costs 90 bucks on Amazon. And, you know, the navigation around this is, I did actually have to read the directions on how to get it into our S modes. But outside of that, it's very easy to use. It's got an even spread. It doesn't have any of the issues. I went through the zoom range on the camera, and, you know, overall it does a great job. 90 bucks on Amazon. I will be testing this next week on a Canon 5D III to see how well it actually works, you know, with an actual Canon, because it is a Canon flash. But as far as manual control on the A6000, this gives you great reliability, good wireless control, and outside, this and the Yonguo on S1 mode, I was actually able to get 50 feet away and fire at a 1/16th of a power with this flash and make these fire. So, you know, that's really impressive. It actually holds up very well outside in full sunlight. Now, as far as that goes, you know, overall, I like the way this locks down. It's nice and tight. It doesn't have the weird pin thing for the lock-in. Seems to be a very solid flash overall. And you can't beat it for the price. All these had the same guide number. They're all the same power. You know, the Yongnuos, like I said, I've had forever and a day. They're very reliable. No problems. The Aperlite, so far, it's in good graces. I like this thing. It's not bad. The Godox is god-awful. It really is bad. The reason why is there's no reason why you can't even have a manual zoom on this thing. I mean, come on. It's 40 bucks. It is supposed to be really a slave flash, but in S1 and S2 modes, it is awful. Indoors, it works kind of okay, you know, but realistically, you know, let's just turn this thing on here and do a super quick test. Now, this is on S1 mode. I'm going to hold it right here and turn this one on, and we're at 1/8 of the power, and flash turned away. Can't get it to flash. Pointed right at it, I can get it to flash. Now this one, let's go the other direction. So we'll point this one away, and we'll turn the power down to 1/8, and we'll hit test. Oh, it would help if I didn't cover my hand over it. Even turned away, still works perfectly. Aperlite, buyer's just as easy. But this thing, even if we change the mode to S2, it has to be right on top of it to actually fire. That thing is just terrible. So anyway, I am not impressed with this flash at all. It has enough strength, but it's not even good enough to be a slave unless you're using a wireless transmitter. So, you know, there's no point. 40 bucks versus 60 bucks versus 90 bucks, and this allows you apparently to do wireless on both Canon and Nikon. I mean, that would be pretty awesome. I wonder if you could actually control this via TTL on Nikon. I'm going to test that. But overall, yeah, this thing's pretty good. So anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you found it informative. Give me a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel for more information like this, and otherwise, you guys have a good day. We'll talk to you later.